The granddaddy.
Granddaddy. Take it away, Marty.
Okay, this is the 32R, basically hence being two 16-inch pad drivers. This is where the water solution would enter into. You got two different ways of putting your water into the machine. All right.
Explain the different ways. So this guy you can pop a hose into.
Yeah.
So
stainless steel chains too.
Yeah, he is it.
That'll sell more scrubbers than you know.
All right, the solution tank holds 50,000.
50,000.
Yep.
35.
35. All right. Yeah. The recovery tank would be 50 gallons.
Yeah.
50 gallons. All right.
Why
Wow, what?
is our recovery tank 15 gallons more than our recovery tank?
You can run more longer with it. Set up more.
You can go more time in between dumps.
That's right.
Yeah. And also, you know, people use these, like Joe said, it's a big wet dry vac. When they have a spill, they're going to go get the scrubber and they're going to pick that up. So that's actually an added benefit of this one, is that there's even increased capacity in the recovery tank so that we can be more efficient and stay on the floor for longer.
And does it alert you when it's full, or just make the different sound in the background?
This one is just going to make the different sound. I don't think this one has a float switch. Yeah, it does.
Two balls. You got two.
Oh, those are
Ping pong balls, not the chrome.
Two of them. Why we got two of them?
Capacity.
In case one gets stuck. You get better results with two.
Why did it go to ping pong on this one versus the chrome ball on that?
It's model. It's the different models.
Yeah, the original watch. Well, that's the original style. The other is the upgraded style. There is upgrade, okay. So that would change. And the water capacity is really important because when you talk about productivity per square foot,
Yeah.
you'd be surprised how much time the operator spends filling, draining, going outside, getting a cigarette break, calling his wife, girlfriend, or mistress, not on the machine as much as you think. So they spend a lot of downtime just messing around and not actually having their butt on the seat, using the scrubber. So if you can keep them on the seat by not having to have so many dumps and refills, then they're not going to be wasting time going to the bathroom, calling their wife, filling, draining, and all that kind of stuff. If they got to go back to a dump site, a fill site, and all those things that they have to do. So again, it's always important to talk about cost per square foot, productivity, runtime, capacity. These are all key words that your client is going to want to hear. And the other thing that's important about talking about this stuff is you become a subject matter expert. So the customer feels very comfortable doing business with you. She believes that you know what you're talking about. So that's why you got to do your homework. You got to study up. You got to practice on the machines. You know, take a buddy with you on the first couple calls, your manager, so you feel comfortable. But you'll get to it. But it's all about practicing and being a subject matter expert. You know, that's how I was successful. I mean, I could go in anywhere and I could sell air conditioners to Eskimos. People just believe me. So, you know, I would just encourage you to invest in the time and energy because it'll pay off and you'll make a lot more money than you are now. And you'll get guns off my back.
Evan, all four of them has a metal chassis, right?
Yes, I'm assuming so. All four of the metal powder coated chassis.
Yep. Power coated.
Actually, I sold this particular unit to a warehouse, a distribution place for they manufacture perfume, a company called E-Style. Right, this place is probably about 80,000 square foot, and this particular model will do up to 60, but basically recommended about 40,000 square foot is what this is recommended for. But the squeegee blade will be about 43 inches. All right, and then basically running the machine. All right, on this side is the valve, like they said earlier, 60% is usually the going speed for your water. First, turn on turn on the machine, heat, and then you set your desired speed. Like I said, that's up to about 60% as well. Then you would turn on your vacuum and your brushes, all right? And then you're ready to operate. And press the pedal and go.
Both the vacuum and the brushes on this one are automated, or actuated, I will say. So they're actually automatically going to push into the floor. And this machine, the brushes run continuously when it's down. So this is another machine that we want to when we put the brushes down to scrub as we go.
This may have already been covered up, missed it, if I did, I apologize. Why don't we have onboard charging with these machines?
Yeah, that was something Joe brought up, that ultimately for longevity of the charger, for getting, better airflow to it so it doesn't overheat. It's on the scrubber, it's shaking to death, when you're scrubbing the floor. It's a better option. Onboard chargers last longer, or off-board chargers last longer than onboard.
Also, water, moisture, believe it or not, these operators are not, scientists, they're generally the lowest level of failed forklift driving tests, lower educated, and they'll put water in. They'll put water in the tank and walk away, and they'll say, call the girlfriend, have a cigarette smoke, come back, and all of a sudden, the scrubber's full of water, the charger's submerged in it, and put it on the shelf. And the way our chargers are, they're small, and you can actually mount them to the wall. So other scrubbers that have remote chargers, they're just like little suitcases, and they get knocked off in the janitor's closet. So the janitor's closet, or the area where you dump the machine, are very small. When engineers build these schools and buildings, they don't think about where we're going to store the scrubber. So the places are pretty tight. So things get knocked off all the time. So with ours, it can be mounted to the wall. It's small, it's compact, it's easy to do, and it's just a better option.
We're getting close to getting our showroom done in our office. We're in different types of polished concrete in the back. Should we be able to successfully demonstrate it in our building without having to drag this out to
Yeah.
location?
Absolutely, we can.
Do that?
Yeah, I want to do what Bill did one time. We had how many companies come in, Bill?
Demo day?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, schools, dealerships.
We sold, 2 or 3 scrubbers off of that?
Yeah, I want to do that. When we
Russ,
get our,
we used to do something called a lunch and learn.
yeah.
But you still got to go to the site and do the survey. Yeah. So you got 5 people coming in for lunch, you should have 5 different surveys so that you can tailor the presentation individually, but through the group. So if I have 5 of you there, I went to all your facilities, and I know what keeps you up at night, I know your answer to the magic wand, and I know your floor conditions and facility. So I will touch on all of those in that meeting, even though it may not apply to all 5, it's going to apply to 1 of the 5. Right? So you can do that. You can do a lunch and learn. I'm sure whatever will approve the cost of the lunch and learn. You get 5 demos at one time.
Those demos in office are great, but don't sleep on what just about everybody said here, that about doing demos on site or other equipment reps, manufacturers, they say if they're going out and doing a demo on site, 9 out of 10 times they're leaving. So don't sleep. You have the idea of bringing 20 people to the office to show them a demo is great. We're going to do that. We're going to do those things. But getting those questions answered, getting out in front of the customer and running the demo on site, I mean, it's a high close probability.
I would think this such a solution advantage from our competitors with all the other things, all the other combinations along with this, with the other servers we can do.
We can put somebody on it, we can put something in it,
Yeah.
we can do all that.
We can do janitorial service along with it, we can do all the other things that they can't do in combination with it.
Absolutely.
The lunch and learn too, they'll play off each other's, well, if he's getting one, I'm getting one.
That's
And
right, keep up with the
sometimes
Joneses.
they- yeah.
What would you do? I want to ask a question. What would you do if you have a line of base scrubbers in there, but you have a Tomcat, you have another machine? What would you do? Would you show them all, or would you just show them one?
It depends on the customer. So the A scrubber is going to be a phenomenal machine to sit in a building and scrub that building. There's been a few applications. There's not many. Most of the scrubber sales you're going to have are going to be traditional, hard surface floors, stuff like that. We run into some crazy ones, right, with the horse stable and stuff like that. In those instances, we want to walk in with a bit of skepticism. The ACE still may be the best solutions as it was for the horse stable, but we approached it a little skeptical. Let's try it. Let's bring it out there to you, see how the results work.
Remember what John said, we have to grow Service Star. So all those other companies to me are dead, they're out of business. So this is the only thing I'd be selling.
Which is good. However, with certain gritty applications and stuff like that, because I've tested these at a wide range of facilities, and I will say that if you come across a really gritty textured epoxy, heavy inclines or anything like that, that's going to be tough on any scrubber. And honestly, the best solution for this case was a cylindrical, which we didn't have due to some of the resistance. But the pad motor quit twice during the demo. You talk about nervous. You talk about nervous. I'm trying to cover it up so they don't see it. And so that there's going to be some instances where the floor type, the conditions aren't really good for any scrubber. And you may have to go with something very specific for that application. And
American-made requests.
what do you mean?
People requesting American-made.
What scrubbers are manufactured in the U.S. right now? Who else?
Next year.
That's it.
Would you say American-made?
Yeah, really. I mean, really, Joe, you would know.
It's just the fact you can't time it. Everybody else makes them in Europe, Mexico, China.
Yep.
And I'm just going to throw this out, Jan's will approve it. If you have dual motion nerve, I'll come in. If you get 3 demos in one day, I'll come in.
Yep.
That's a good idea.
The other thing too is a lot of the components are going to come from Asia. So they might claim that it's basically assembled in the United States. It's the old DeWalt trend.
Yeah.
USA from global components.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we wanted to ship the A scrubbers to us with the decks disconnected and we connected the bolts, technically we could say assembled in USA too. But nobody does. We went to ISSA this past year, and I can tell you the Nilfisk and the Tenets were not the main equipment booths this year. It's all international companies, and that's where the people are heading. So going back to the thing about the USA made, if they want a USA made scrubber, yeah, Tomcat, we can sell them that one. But if they think they're getting that with a Tenet or a Nilfisk or any other of those brands, Karcher, Nace Care, they're not. Any more questions? Reggie?
Just input. Just one of the things I like to sell on the warranty piece for our equipment. Some of the things that I get feedback from our clients is that it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get a tech to come out and service their equipment versus our process is way faster.
Yep.
And they contact me, right? And then I initiate, the email that allows them to quickly submit for repair. And so that gives me another opportunity to sell. Right, so
Yeah.
I think that portion of when my equipment goes down, the faster process that we have is way better than our competitors.
Yeah.
You know the reason
Yeah.
why? Because when tenant gets a service call, everything they do is route driven, and they don't go out on a service call unless they have preventive maintenance calls in that same zip code. So they look at their monthly, quarterly preventive maintenance calls, then they go to them first, then they fill in the service calls around that zip code. So it's kind of like UPS will make a right-hand turn. So that's why it takes longer for them to go out. Where we're responding directly to the service call, they're putting it in a queue and plugging it in when they're already going to be in that area for a prepaid PM.
Yeah, and listen, guys, a lot of times we get caught up in that. We get spoiled by our phenomenal turnaround and how good it is. I've talked with multiple reps before that get pissed when something goes 3 days without somebody being on site. And what do you mean? And I'm having to call Clay, and me and Clay are fussing and trying to figure out how to get a tech out there. That's still great timing. Within 5 business days, it's phenomenal for the industry. So don't lose that. And also on the scrubbers as well, A lot of people get used to Ace pricing, and then they see a 20-inch scrubber that's 10 grand. I ain't buying that shit. Where you at, Andy? But so don't get hung up on those things. Any other input?
It does take away from the walk-in customer.
What does?
If you don't have a tech, you're looking at your 5-day turnaround.
Well, it's better than any of our competitors.
Or we like our competitors, or we don't stand alone.
Well, we're going to do it the most efficient for the most profit and the best service. Anybody else?
I know others have sold a lot, but I think Andy has sold the most and maybe the most variety. Can you speak a little bit about where you sold them, or what's the, just in general?
Generally, it's going to be a price point.
Okay.
So
What's been most successful?
They've either had the machine, had a type of machine, tinted, whatever, and always a trick that I use. It's not really a trick. It's just that we private label the machine. We in-house all our parts.
Okay.
So there's not going to be that time constraint. We can go straight to the house, pick it up, get you rolling. That's kind of.
And buying you.
Yep.
What is the warranty?
What is the warranty? Great question. It is a multi-tiered approach. We got 5 years on the tanks, 3 years on, help me out, Jennifer, 3 years electrical motors.
Travel is 90 days, labor is 1 year, non-wearable parts 3 years, recovery and solution tank are 5 years, batteries 1 year, with the exceptions to all of that, being the vacuum motor at 1 year and the brush motor at 2 years.
All right. Anything else?
I just want to go back real quick. You might ask Andy, since he sold the most, what he's done, what are his tricks? I think the simple answer is he just pushes the Ace line of equipment when he goes out and gets in front of customers.
That's the trick. There it is.
We've already got the best pricing. He understands the equipment. He sees the need. Now, there is no secret formula. It's just putting in the effort to sell the Ace line of equipment.
It's also,
Did I miss something high on that? Is that it?
it's also not because he's just in Alabama, for the record. How quickly did we just get Clay to get equipment down to Jacksonville? Yeah, so pretty quick. And for the record, we were just having a little talk. Tell us what we have in the warehouse today.
Yeah, we've got 32 of the 26, 20-something of the 20s.
32 Ace 26Ts and
32?
Yep.
32 Ace 26 and 26 Ace 20s.
And
26
26.
is my favorite. Does anybody remember the first three that we brought in? Was the 20-inch, the 28-inch, and the 32. You know what the feedback was? Man, we just had that 26-inch machine. If we have that 20-inch, 26-inch, and we can sell a bunch of those. Everybody's used to 26. We got to get a 26-inch model. So what did we do? We got a 26-inch model in.
Now we have 32 of them.
Now we have 32 of them sitting around for 6 months. That's why I don't like the what if. What if somebody wants 30 of them? Well, let's what if it crossed that finish line.
One of the other things we're going to have Jennifer show real quick is just the quick access to all the material that's related to this and where you guys can find it. She's been very, very helpful. I know that Josh and Malcolm had some great feedback about some of the marketing material that she was really quick to change.